And hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Refresh Point. My name may or may not be Ben, and I may or may not be joined by my relatively constant co-host, Steve. Steve, how's it going?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
We're back. We're
back.
We're done with almost all of the BCS season. We are wrapping it up. We've got exciting announcements from the conference, and we also have new content from BCS Duluth. So that was really fun.
It's a great time. So we literally just finished doing our recorded commentary over the Duluth Top Cut games. It was a fresh experience for us. It was a new experience. So hopefully those come out great. By the time this episode will likely come out before the BCS Duluth footage, because that has to get reviewed by Bouchereau first, supposedly. And so, but hopefully not soon, not far off after this video releases, or podcast rather releases, you will get to see our BCS Duluth Top Cut commentary, and more importantly, the VODs of those games. So, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the Winter Conference announcements. We're gonna get into the rather depressing restriction announcements in both languages, and we're gonna talk about perhaps a little bit of deck building right after you shuffle your decks, tap or cut, and we'll get right into the refresh point with some breaking news. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh my goodness, the Winter Conference just ended, and before that, the JP announcement stream came by. We got a restriction list update. Now then, the important thing to note about the naming of a restriction list update is that you do not necessarily have to add cards to the restriction list. As a matter of fact, you can take cards off the restriction list, or, you know, in a bit of semantics, if you release a restriction list update, it can be an informational update about the restriction list that does not in fact change it either way.
Yes, and we got some of those things.
In fact, we got both of those things. In the Japanese language, there was an unrestriction list. There were cards freed somewhat from restriction, and the idle slop will continue until morale improves.
Yeah. So what we didn't get was restrictions of some of the absolute horror decks that exist in the JP meta.
Actually, the worst part now is the Albedo deck from Overlord being super free as well. Did you not read that one yet?
We definitely multiplied our JP problems when it comes to vis-a-vis standby decks strangling the meta to death.
Don't you love better Hasu?
Yeah.
Isn't that so cool?
So it would have been cool to only have one Hasu deck instead of two, but it turns out, nope, we get both. Also, if you didn't like playing against Gakumas and were hoping your opponent wouldn't have 12 memory cards a game, I have bad news. They will continue to do that.
12 is a little, you're a little pushing it, but yes. There was, of course, unrestrictions for the Japanese ban list. If you were traumatized by D-Side Traumarai, great news. It only got unrestricted +1 rando. They get 3 instead of 2, which is something.
That's certainly 50% worse than it was before.
So all Sword Art Online builds that aren't the early play Alice build are not punished anymore, because the Swordalina and Lifa level 0s were unrestricted.
Of all the unrestricts, this is the one that matters the least, arguably. This, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, now you can play that.
You can lose with both of those cards in your deck now instead of one of them.
Yeah, I know. You just do this the gas setup for the mill 11. You get burn 1, 2, 2, 4, and yeah, that'll win the game, right?
No.
Right?
No.
Eurocamp got unslapped on the wrist because it got its I believe it's the stock shuffle and I think it was a spawner or something unrestricted.
Yeah, that restriction felt hasty and unwarranted in the beginning to begin with. So I'm fine with that.
Symphogear is free.
Yeah.
I've never been inflicted with Symphogear.
This is a tandem early play mechanism, and it's good that they unrestricted it. Good luck into a very nasty standby meta trying to do this sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Love Live Sunshine fully unrestricted. Not for nothing. Looking at the unrestricts, there wasn't much left. I think they kept they kept Yo free or like limited, unless Yo was Yo already free.
Yeah, what was holding Yo back is the
Rico and the
so that's the on play pitch to check for a music character.
Oh, and the deck speed. Sure. Yeah.
So this is fine. That deck is fine. Again,
good luck.
A deck from probably too long ago to really impact the meta. It has some new cards from a little while ago that make it sort of better. Still doesn't have a climax swap.
Yeah, Little Busters got freed. I'm not sure what that card is.
You can now rest. Which is
rest
cool.
Counter. Nice.
No, that's the name of the card.
Oh, sorry. You can now rest. What does rest do?
I think it's some kind of heal. I don't remember, but in any case, great. I mean that.
And then Puzzle and Dragons got their kind of pieces unrestricted so that you can play Not Nay successfully.
Yeah, you can play 8-bar pad again, which is cool and fun, and I'm fine with it. So sure.
And in English, they released an article at the same time as the Winter Conference telling us that they would not be restricting anything at this time for a variety of reasons, and that they would be keeping an eye on Bang Dream, Overlord. They gave a nod to HoloLive because Carter has been winning so much.
Yeah.
And they said that they may release another restriction before Worlds.
Yeah. So it's fine to not restrict anything, right? It's fine. You don't have to restrict anything. I think I've been pretty consistent with my refrain about you can't just restrict everything good that comes into the meta. Otherwise, the meta will never grow if we just restrict everything that comes down. But it is depressing and disheartening for a person going to Worlds, such as myself and many others, to read that last sentence and see that it's possible that over the limited remaining time between now and Worlds, they can still restrict. I wish they would not, and I hope that they don't. But I'm also not going to practice Bang Dream.
Okay, yeah.
If you know what I mean, because I think it's very possible that it will get restricted. Now, I again wish that it wouldn't be up to this point in time to figure that out. We already have a whole bunch of problems heading into Worlds. There's an English exclusive being released a week before Worlds. I don't need this. Nobody wants this. Either restrict it now or restrict it after Worlds, but don't do it right before Worlds. That is nonsensical and frustrating. So
No, they want you to have fun, Steve. They want you to deck build and playtest in the question marks month before Worlds.
yeah,
The whole meta. Every
Yeah.
single deck.
Yeah, it's not like we're introducing some, I don't know, let's call it 3 new decks to the game in that time frame. So yeah, not disappointed that they didn't restrict anything. Thought they probably would. Bang Dream probably deserves a light tap just to keep it from being 50% of every top cut. But I'm okay with them not doing it. What I'm not okay with them doing is hedging. Like, just say that this is the meta and we'll figure it out. But by hedging, you're just creating uncertainty among the entire competitive player base, and that sucks.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that did happen.
It did happen.
However, we also got an exciting announcement, one that we wanted for a while. It's a little late, but it comes with an extra bonus. It's Uma Musume.
Yeah, I mean,
We may or may not have missed the big zeitgeist, but it's still popular.
yeah.
And big, we got set 1 and 2.
Huge.
Massive.
Tremendous.
Amazing.
I'm very happy because set 1 Uma Musume, if you didn't play JP, set 1 Uma Musume will be meta relevant day 1. So, just in time, not maybe just in time, but pretty early on in the Summerfest season.
Yeah,
so
everybody going to Pasadena will be sad, and then everybody else will be having the horse time of their life.
Right, so now you too can have Horse Girls as one of your team members. And most teams probably will, I'm guessing.
We love milling cards.
Yeah,
We love adding them to hand.
yeah.
I love putting my overage of hand into my memory so that I can cash it out for a burn to later.
We've heard of compression in the waiting room. You've heard of compression in the memory. Hear me out. Compression on the board ×2.
Yeah. Hexproof.
Right. We're
If you get the angle good enough
yeah.
with the I think it's the, I don't know, Chiono, Sakura Chiono, something. Whatever, man. We're marker compressing, baby.
Yeah.
And this ain't Mob Psycho spoons. It's not nothing else. We got markers attached to incredible milling, incredible hand fixing, incredible finishing-ish. Well, decent finishing.
At least
very
workable finishing.
At least workable finishing. And just an outsized ability to deck fix, deck mill, hand fix, and just kind of keep the game on rails. And that's coming to a local game store near you. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Alongside New Era, which will then bring Dansu Flame and Agnes Tachyon, which will make it worse somehow.
They didn't announce any other new sets. We have a decent pipeline for the next few months, but it gets pretty bare after that. So hopefully at Worlds, we'll hear what is coming down the pipeline for the remainder of the summer, early fall parts of the season. But it's good news that we're adding Uma, a very good competitive deck that will help propel the English meta forward. We have to push the meta forward, and this is going to help do that along with Eminence and Shadow and OSK2.
Yeah.
Speaking of Eminence and Shadow, we got a big drop.
It looks pretty cool.
We got a big drop of previews.
It looks pretty cool.
They showed us 36 new cards from the Eminence and Shadow set. And while a lot of Climax combos are still remaining to be determined, particularly the early game advantage engines, what we did see is, one, a very nice crop of zeros, doing all the good things that zeros can do in a modern Weiss set.
Very decent lineup of zeros. We got the Sakura brainstorm support, but for gate instead of treasure.
I mean, just a phenomenal card.
Yeah.
And we got the, the unfair Ricky.
Yeah.
Where
Clock
it's like,
from waiting room.
But what if I clocked from my waiting room?
Uh-huh.
And we got a nice suite of the normal mechanics that we deserve.
Yeah.
In a modern set.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then we got shown some finishers.
We got the sortie.
Right.
We're going on a sortie. So the way it works is that you can only have up to 2 copies of any individual finishing option on the board at a time. They all have climax combo text with sortie.
Right.
And they all must be one of 2 only in the center stage. Here's the thing, though, man. We got an English exclusive with stock swap in the first set. Just like God intended. Definitely not something that hurt me before.
Well,
I could not think of a fighting game related IP that couldn't have gotten a stock swap in its English set. But we got a stock swap, and it combos with sortie, actually. It has, like, Dinky Mocha, but you don't care because it's a stock swap.
Right. And then we also get Burn 2. And then we also get Burn 2, Burn 3, Burn 4.
No, even better than Burn 2, Steve. It's Burn 1 on play.
Right.
For free.
And then Burn 2.
And then Burn 2.
Right. So,
Burn 1, Burn 2.
Right.
Nothing beats that.
It's very good.
And then it's not Burn 2, Burn 3 before. It's Burn 2 if cancel. Burn 3 if cancel. Burn 4. And they all have a decent on-play effect. Stock swap, already mentioned. Heal, Burn 1 for free.
Right.
On the Burn 2 one.
Yeah.
And then I think it's Candra. I think it's
it is.
check 3
it
on
is.
the on cancel of the Burn 2, Burn 3, then Burn 4.
It is. Yes. Now, using all 3 of these effects will cost a lot of resources. So you will need to have a pretty decent game to pull it all off. But if the game is less good, then you could just opt into fewer of those payouts. So you could have 2 of the Burn 1 character. You get the free Burn 1. So free Burn 1, and then couple 2s or 3s in there. That's great. That's enough. But maybe if you didn't want to opt into all of this and you just wanted just a finisher we can just have and it'll just work, right? We have the TD finisher that just works.
Yeah.
So it requires some very specific discards. You need 2 other copies of itself and 3 other cards. And then and it has to be the only center stage character. So we don't have to worry about too much sculpting because we get to search 2 on placement. And we just get Burn 3 5 times. So
Jotaro, but arguably better.
Yes, and 6 packets is bog standard finishing in Weiss Schwarz.
That's Maureen, baby.
And also, no interaction. Tap counter what?
My one character?
I already attacked.
Thoughts?
Yeah.
Now, if you memory kick me, I will jump off a cliff.
True.
But does it get power as well?
I don't remember.
All right.
But I will say, it's very low on interaction, which is what we like, especially in a meta with so much interaction. We've got tap counters from every direction and events from every direction. We don't want any of that. We just want Burn 3 5 times. And if you block, then I guess unlucky. But if you don't block, hear me out, you're dead.
Yeah.
And if I have any extra resources, I can always just play the sortie character and burn 1 a couple times before I go in.
True.
So I think there's a deck there. It seems very gate heavy, the whole set.
Yeah, for sure.
So we will probably see 8 gate of some variety be the meta version of this deck, whether it's sortie.
Oh, the TD finish. It's not TD. It's a common.
Oh, my bad.
And it just works because it happens at the beginning of your attack step.
Right. Yeah. So,
and then you can swing.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what they do. You get it.
Nice.
Yeah. So, very cool. Still need to see some resource engines to figure out how reasonable the sortie combo will be, or what you're going to be working with from a deck speed perspective. But from what I have seen so far, it looks workable. At best, it will be high mid-tier. At worst. At best, it could be one of the best decks in the meta.
Yeah.
Remains to be seen.
Oh yeah, that burn 2 from the sortie finisher has no backup printed on it.
We love no backup.
Yeah.
That
burn
means
1, burn 2, no backup.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's tough, buddy. Sorry, that's rough, buddy. All right.
So very good cards. Go check them out. There are several places where you can find the Eminence and Shadow cards. So, yeah. It's very exciting.
It's very cool. And Duluth did happen
That's true.
between the last episode and this episode. And we got recording rights, as previously mentioned. And hopefully those videos are live on the channel. If not, they will be live soon, hopefully. I guess I'll try to time the release of all of it kind of similarly. Wow. What a mishmash of a top cut, man. That was some Weiss Schwarz.
Yeah, it was very exciting. It's the first time we've ever been allowed to record and do asynchronous commentary for any official Bouchard event, so we're both over the moon to have that happen. Even better that I've already qualified, so I didn't have to make any difficult choices about what I needed to do. Unfortunate for Ben, he chose the refresh point over everything, which is why we love him. It's because he put the refresh point first.
Yeah. And it was good to see everybody at BCS Duluth, always. Very funny that I effectively got to wave high at Cade from base damage for like 5 seconds and then never saw him again.
It felt that way for...
It was like handshake with somebody who's like, hey, what's up, man? And never see them again. Where it's just, I don't know. We've been chatting with a lot of different people across the country, across the world for Weiss Schwarz, and we had a job that day, which led to us not being at the venue as much and not being able to walk around and talk to people as much, which is unfortunate. Shout outs to our boy, what is it? It is Ryan. Please. I'm gonna double check.
It's
I'm gonna
Ryan. Yes.
What's up?
It's Ryan.
All right, cool. My brain's pretty fried. But shout out to our boy Ryan, who beat me in Swiss before I dropped out. Rightfully so. It was very funny because I had no interest, of course, in continuing the tournament because I would have to drop at some point to record. Something that I might have done earlier, in fact, may have not played the tournament, if I realized there was like 15 people, 20 people on the wait list that just didn't get to play.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been to a Weiss Schwarz event with such a huge amount of people that just overfilled the venue. I think this was one of the smaller venues.
Yeah, we got
shafted
to like kind of the side
Yeah.
kind of area.
The Houston venue felt huge compared to this one.
Yeah, and so they capped it at the fire marshal like legal amount of people that could be there, which was like 500 Vanguard players and then like 150, 140 Weiss players, and that left people out of the tournament, which is a little crazy. Like, I don't know what metrics they're looking at, but I don't know, man. Like, Weiss do be getting more people than that.
Yeah, for sure. And it was shocking to me that they would keep the venue at that size, knowing, like, you can look at past Duluth events and the writing's kind of on the wall about how many people are going to be at an event. And it's also worth mentioning that the further you go into the season, the more people are going to start getting hungry for Worlds and realize that the amount of opportunities they have are dwindling. And so you're going to see more and more and more people traveling. So it's really strange that they capped the event so aggressively, because it felt like that was just short-sighted. Short-sighted.
Yeah. I mean, even if you, I don't know, let's say we take the purely most pessimistic viewpoint, that they're tamping down on Weiss for, I don't know,
well,
more of
they obviously,
but it would be
Vanguard had the preference, right?
Yeah, Vanguard has the preference, but even if Vanguard has the preference and you want more room, say for more Vanguard or more new game, maybe whatever, wouldn't you want more space anyways? You need more room anyways. Even if you are like capping events a little bit, if it's for something else, you need room for that other thing too.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part of this is that if you traveled from somewhere else
and you didn't sign up early,
you didn't prepare correctly, and in fairness,
normally it doesn't hit cap.
Yeah, now you had time, but normally it doesn't matter. So it was just weird and unfortunate.
Yeah.
But also, it was a heck of a top 16.
Yeah. We have on recording an excellent example of why you should not try field at level 0 with non-plussing zeros.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that. It's not a great idea.
No. And it's an even worse idea when not only are we low on plussing zeros, if any, but also the power of these characters is awful. So they're guaranteed to be reversed.
This was Gun Gale Online versus HoloLive 8 Standby. We literally recorded commentary about this. I am releasing this podcast after the VODs. Come back after you listen. We just talked about this for literally, we recorded like 30 for like 2 hours of go watch that first, then you can come back here at 29 minutes into the podcast episode and listen to us talk about it again. Okay, just go listen. You come right back at like 29:15 and you can continue to listen to us talk about it. We already talked about it. We Loopy was a new player. They had gone to the BSF previously at Duluth, and that was their only tournament. And then they got top cut at this tournament, and that's really cool for them. But also, man,
sometimes you make your own bad luck, and they did. By destroying all of your hand fixing and weakening your hand, you open yourself up to some really ugly lines of play.
Yep.
And that's what happened.
Yep.
So it is unfortunate to watch, but
yeah, it was somehow, it was unironically, they lost the game when they hit their last brainstorm.
Yeah.
Like, unironically.
Yeah.
Just refresh 4 because all of your climaxes turned out to be at the bottom.
And your hand.
And your hand. So you had to clock 1 to get hand, and you couldn't refresh it back, and then you double triggered, and you also blinded 1, so you refresh 4. And then you draw 1, and then you hit 1 on the brainstorm. So there are now 2 climaxes and 20 cards.
Yeah.
Die to vanillas.
Yeah, 20 plus cards, I would say. But
yeah.
It's one of those things where you the game state was difficult but exacerbated by bad choices. And so it's really the top 16, and all the games have good things to take away. Top 16 and top 8 in particular are one of those things where it's like sometimes the game will make havoc for you, but you're also leaning into it a little bit if you commit to
Alex,
aggressive plays.
You know, not to roast on you too much, and obviously you are willing to fight back, so I don't feel bad. Like, you will comment on this.
Yeah.
I will look for the 3130 timestamp comment in the comment section, because you will probably leave a comment about why you milled the way you did. I just want to know, Alex. I just want to know, why did you just mill it all? Now then, obviously unlucky, you double triggered. It sucks on that first one combo turn, but why?
It was one of those things where it was an aggressive line of play, and unfortunately, when you can't get through the whole deck and you commit to an aggressive mill, you are leaving the possibility of having a bunch of damage left on the table. And incomplete milling is the source of some big damage chunks in Weiss Schwarz. So it's a good lesson in, if you have a way to mill but not the whole deck, consider how that's going to go. Because what can happen is whenever you reveal cards from the top of your deck, they can be climaxes. Always. And there is no mathematics in a one sample size deck. You are going to get sometimes the best iteration, sometimes the worst iteration. And so you are gambling. You are gambling when you do that. And so...
And sometimes you have to, and you have to do it either way.
Right.
But I think for us two, we prefer the gamble of don't touch it anymore and pray that you just don't reveal too much.
Yeah.
And Alex took the gamble of go through as much as possible so that we can afterwards go into a new deck that is hopefully better, and pray not to reveal too much anyways.
Right. And like Ben mentioned, it sucked that, there were some treasure triggers that made it much, much worse than it needed to be. And so that exacerbates the gamble, though, right? Is we gambled hard and then snake eyes ourselves. And so you save the clock, which is cool, but you open yourself up to a 4 chunk plus some other damage. And then you're getting a not so good refresh. And then you're back in the exact same position you were just in, which is a deck with uncertain compression that you now have to take even more cards out of to try and reset that. So it's like it's constantly looping around the idea that we want to get to a deck state that's good, but we're constantly revealing cards and making it unstable. And that's unfortunate when it happens, because he gets some significant unluck later where there's a combo and doesn't want to reveal too much, reveals a climax, doesn't want to reveal too much, reveals a second climax, doesn't want to reveal too much, reveals a third card, it's an event, and then finally occurs upon a character, but you already lost 2 climaxes. And so you never wanted to reveal any of that. You just wanted to reveal something decent and draw it. But because of bad circumstances, now the game has once again become very challenging. So it's a good lesson in like the risks of sometimes when your only plussing comes from revealing cards from the top of your deck and brainstorms, which is also just revealing cards from the top of your deck, then you can occur upon these type of situations if you recombo into a deck that is moderately compressed. You can come into these really awful states where it's just like, oh, I revealed all my climaxes, I guess I'm dead. Now, you can get the inverse of that, and Bang Dream players do it all the time, where it's just like, reveal the healer, add, reveal a card I want, add, heal, laugh at you, mill the entire deck. And like that happens as often as the nightmare scenarios happen. So it's just one of those things that it's part of the experience.
And we got another kind of two sides thing happen in our semis to finals, where we saw the heads of cats and then the tails of cats, where Steve Long took 8 standby Azure Lane, mollywopped a guy with cats in the semis, walked into finals, drew one of the most horrific hands that must have been. If he decides to listen to this, he can tell us what the hand was at some point, because it wasn't that easy to see in the recording. It was bad.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was even theoretically possible for him to win was due to some really choice decisions on his part on managing the discard tools and the combos and everything to try his level best to keep the game on rails. Meanwhile, in every game we saw him in, Carter kind of just had to not int.
Yeah, he had some really awkward deck states, but the cancels, the lucky cancels where you don't have that many climaxes in. You can easily.
It wasn't even particularly lucky. It was I would argue them decent luck cancels.
Yeah.
In the sense of you went back all
not
8.
not lucky. But what I mean is that
They're nice. They're good.
Yeah.
You got
It's
cancels.
It's like you.
But having cancels versus your opponent's no cancels is in fact better.
Right. Well, it's more like there were a few game states where he easily could have eaten.
True.
And then didn't. And
Right.
it was or canceled twice where I expected one. And it was just okay, those are the type of things that you need to win a tournament. You kind of need some things to go right. And in a way that they wouldn't normally, or that they shouldn't. And so it's just opponent tries to resolve decompression tool, it doesn't work, I triple cancel anyway. It's just okay, that happened. And I don't know why, but it's good that it did. And so...
And so because he had, we'll call it mildly above average luck, but even so, he had the kind of the diffusion tools in hand, right? I guess not for nothing, it is relatively lucky that he did draw a climax. Nearly every turn that it was relevant and nearly wanted to field polka, right? Not even get value off the standby.
No.
Unironically, just field polka so that you can brainstorm polka, go through 15 cards and call it a day.
Well, and also there were a number of times where the climax enabled the Muna discard into the reveal, into the hand fix, into the standby target, into the get the rest counter, and
But again,
it was just he was making all the right choices to keep the game exactly where it needed to be.
Yes.
And when you make good plays and then good things happen, that's great. That's how winning gets done.
In a sense, it's kind of nice for 8 standby Hololive in the sense that you can so relatively easily resolve either of the combos at any time at any point in the game. Once you hit level 1, you can press either climax combo onto the board relatively straightforwardly for joy and still get all the mechanics that you want to happen. The Muna, the polka or not, the ASCII search if you resolve it, get the choke on the board for the damage rush, either way, to just kind of keep the game moving forward, keep the deck state okay, keep your stock relatively clean.
You get so many checks. Again, we're talking about a deck with a significant amount of soul triggers, 28 soul triggers. And so our 2 finals decks are just soul triggers the deck plus 8 standby plus some fixing. Both decks very similar in nature in terms of overall game plan. Take these vanillas to the face, and the standby will be mitigated by the fact that I just have a bazillion soul triggers and a lot of ways to check them.
Yeah, and what's my compression tool is not triggering too much.
Right.
Or getting rid of them.
Right. And so you saw several instances where Carter was able to manage his standby triggers using the Aqua, manage his standby triggers using his other payout tools, and keep the deck state.
I don't think he ever blind stalked a Climax, which is also, nice within itself. But again, yeah, like you need some luck to win a tournament.
Well, how would he blind stalk?
The Aqua blind stalks after you pay it out. It's payout, blind stock.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, true. But yeah, I thought he played extremely well in all the games. There were some difficult deck states to navigate where there looked like there was a window where some damage could get dealt, and either his opponents were in too weakened of a state to capitalize, or they tried to capitalize and it either didn't work or did work, and if it did work, all it did was equalize the damage state where he was ahead already. And so it felt like in all the games we saw, he was ahead in terms of he would take some damage, fall behind on damage, but get ahead on the board, and then eventually get ahead in damage.
I mean,
and then
barely even get ahead on the board. He was like... I mean, honestly, it was just get ahead in the resource. We'll call it like that.
He
would get the Choco.
Yes, he was able to keep guys on the board using Choco more often than I anticipated, particularly because the Azure lane, Steve's game was so bad that like he wasn't able to actually force Carter into difficult game states. He was struggling mightily in hand and didn't get the 2-2 combo, took way too much damage, and it made what should have been a matchup that was much more winnable. In terms
honestly, favored to Azure lane in general.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It made the matchup unwinnable because it just so much damage came down in deck one, and then by the time he was able to start getting the board under control, he's fighting Chocos, he's fighting all kinds of guys and backups, and like and then Eofi, and it's just a nightmare. And so by the time he was able to get on the board, Carter had already sculpted all the tools to deal with it. And was just like, oh, is this Eofi? Did I reveal a 3 off of Muno? Cool. That sounds like it's something that could be useful against you. I'll go ahead and pick that up right now before you ever get the 3. So as soon as you do get the 3, I'm just like, oh yeah, by the way, counterplay. So Carter was one step ahead of all of his opponents for most of all those games. He had the answers available. He knew what he needed to do to win. He sculpted the things he needed to win, and then he won. Now, the amount of blocking that happened at level 2 was absolutely surreal in most games, where I was just like, I guess he just is never going to level to 3. He's just going to cancel and then resolve standbys, and that's it. So, but I mean, obviously very well played at all points. I didn't see anything that looked terribly misplayed until kind of the end where he made a questionable pay 3, where I was just like, I don't know why you did that, but it didn't matter. The opponent at 3-6, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? The game's over. So, yeah, just really well played. I mean,
congratulations, Carter. Congratulations,
and Steve. Yeah, played tremendously in the games that we saw. But yeah,
congratulations, Hansen.
Yeah,
who got third in the non-recorded match with 7 treasure, single comeback, just for the
memes. I don't know.
The fake out.
For the pluses.
Yeah. You don't want to trigger treasure too much.
No. Yeah.
So just put less of them in the deck.
Sure. I don't. It's a thing that people
we'll
do.
Have the interview out as well.
Yeah. And we talked about it, but I don't support it. I never. You won't catch me playing one of Climaxes.
And also, you're a coward, Steve. You could have been Tokumo. You could have played Avatar.
Yeah, I didn't.
I know. Coward.
I played Caligura, and it was horrible.
Nice. Yeah. Sick.
So yeah, I got absolutely mollywopped in round 1 with the remember that ideal Bang Dream scenario I was just describing, where like all they do is check 1 and draw cards and heal over and over again. Yeah, that happened. Where at one point I think my opponent had 13 stock, and I was concerned that I would ever be able to do anything in the game, and it turns out I was correct to be concerned.
Nice. Yeah.
So
strong.
Yeah. I just just got annihilated.
What did I do? I fought Ryan, I think was my last one. I fought an Ohio player round 1, and I got like the bad end of like stock swap icy tail. I was playing like Akira. We were just shipping it for the lulz.
Yeah.
Then I did get a win. I'm like 90% sure I did not just 0-4 drop unironically, but I also, it's hard to recall exactly what happened because it wasn't super important to me. In the sense of like it was fun to play. I was there just to play for fun. And again, if I'd realized that the friggin' like just the wait list would be so bad, I would have dropped for somebody who could play the tournament at least. That would have been good.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was too late. Like the tournament was starting. I just hear like 20 people are out and I'm like, oh gosh. Well, that stinks. Round 2, I was fighting an enterprise player, and I had, I think, the best like game outcomes ever, where I'm just him. I'm just that guy. It ended with him attempting to resolve the enterprise on me without, I think, ever thinking about how many climaxes I might have had in my deck, or considering that he just didn't have any other place to make. I had 8 climaxes and 15 cards, Steve.
Yeah, I mean,
I was at 2-4. I was having a pretty good game. And then I had a very, very poor game immediately afterwards. I don't even remember my round 4. It happened.
Yeah,
I lost.
I played a
It
hand.
was
Yeah.
probably bad luck. My game into Ryan was, it was actually a copy of our game at Trios, like a year or two ago at Houston, where I drew 5 climaxes within 2 turns and 8 of almost 3 levels straight, and then was kind of just considering how to live with myself.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like barely managed to get 7 back in, eat another level anyways. He's 1-6 or like 2-1. I'm 3-4, trying to decide what's going to happen now. Like that kind of game. One of these days, Ryan, we'll play a game where I don't draw all of the climaxes in the universe and cancel maybe a little bit, and
that would be fun.
Maybe it'll be exciting. or not for nothing. I think, I'm not sure how much you were kind of tracking the early game as much, but I was quickly coming to grips with, number 1, I don't have a great investment in winning, and it would be nice if he won. And it does appear like the game is really pushing me towards that loss very quickly.
Yeah. It's like say less, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I got you, buddy.
It could have been exciting, Anyways.
Yeah, I
oops.
played a handful of mixed bag games. Don't play a finisher that's 2-up. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
Yeah, now you can play D-side. You couldn't before, and now you're allowed.
If your finisher is 2-up, just don't do it, man. Or at the very least, know that the rest of your deck has to be very good in order to pull that off.
Wait, but I can only play 2 of the sortie finisher of each one.
Yeah.
Does that count?
No, that obviously doesn't count. We have 12 finishers. We can play any 3 of them. But
is that different? Is that different?
It's way different. If your finisher is Mai and the rest of your deck is Aobuda, you can do it.
Oh, okay.
The shell.
Oh, my bad.
The shell.
Bad.
So
okay.
if you take a hammer to the inside of your house and you rip out one of the walls.
Right.
If all the other walls are still good, the house will keep standing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But
true.
if your house is made out of paper and you damage one of the exterior load-bearing walls, do not be surprised when the whole house crumbles.
Okay.
And that's kind of where Hololive Caligura is. So, Chainsaw Man is the first is part of the first two. Caligura, don't do it. The next two unstable. Even with the stuff that I thought would make it more stable and believed that it would be more stable, it just isn't. It's too difficult. It forces you into too many bad lines of play that don't make any sense. In the name of, I triggered one of these things, now I have to pay 3 for some reason. You know, it's that type of thing. Where it's just like, it becomes unreasonable too quickly. It's too hard to juggle all the pieces. So, just don't do it. Just play normal decks. Play plenty of good decks.
Or you can be egotistical and tell this guy to my right to fuck off, and you're better. I mean, that's
also true.
That's an option. You can skill diff.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, that would be good.
Duluth's very cool for the experience. Obviously, for the recording, not so much for the play. I do love going to Georgia. Very cool. Like, the locals there are awesome. It's a good scene.
Yeah. I got to follow up on a very funny interaction wherein last year I was in the Viet customs line to go to my grandmother's 92nd birthday. And there's an old white dude behind me among the sea of Vietnamese people. And he was there for his second time after his hair salon friends basically set him up to go the first time. It was during the new year,
right? And
now was going the second time in August for some reason. I don't know, maybe his friends started hating him, sent him out there during the freaking heat waves. But either way, somehow this man was from Duluth, Georgia, and was like, yeah, you should check out this ramen shop. And I don't remember the name, but I remember from the convention center, you go down Satellite. It's in this specific shopping mall that is before the H Mart. And I was like, all right, cool. And we found the best possible candidate, I think, for it.
Yeah.
In that there were 2 ramen shops kind of around that location, but one of them was 3 years old and thus was unlikely to be the favorite of the old man's daughter,
right,
who had grown up in the area. But instead, we went to the 20-plus-year-old restaurant that served some of the biggest ramen bowls I have ever seen in my life. Unironically, in pho bowls.
Yeah, they were huge.
And the funniest part is, I think the non-ramen stuff was were the better foods that we had at that restaurant.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Ichiban.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it was something Ichiban.
Haru Ichiban. I'm telling you.
There you go. Yeah.
I looked it up before the episode.
Nice. This guy's smart. All right.
I had a feeling we might talk about it.
Yeah. And it was very funny to follow up on the random recommendation that fell into my lap in the customs line to get into Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah, I mean, you never know where it'll come from.
Yeah. And actually, speaking of never knowing where your next food rex will come from, I was waiting in line for barbecue in Austin the other day. I was taking a quick break of life, and there's a guy who's about to fly back to Chicago. And he had been to Tokyo, and he was working in Chicago, and now I have a ramen rec and an udon rec for Kyoto and Tokyo, and a Viet restaurant in Chicago that apparently serves the best pho ever.
I mean, ostensibly we go to places to play cards,
but really
we just go to eat. Because we're just fat as fuck, I guess. I don't know. But I look forward to the food culture nearly as much as the competitive play. not quite as much, but definitely 55-45. So, yeah, that's great news.
Yeah, we got some restaurant recs come from all sorts of places. Just be friendly. Be talking to people. That seem cool.
I'm certainly not going to do that. I'm going to depend on you to do that.
All right. Yeah.
I will talk to you.
Yeah, you're old and crotchety and you won't socialize.
It's not that. I'm just an awkward person. I don't know how to fix it. I'm an awkward person. I don't know. I'm sure there are people who have met me in person in Weiss and been like, man, that guy's awkward. I feel it in my bones. That's
all
why,
right.
yeah.
Kind of a short episode, he says, as we approach the 57-minute mark. We do short form content here on the Refresh Point every now and then. But we have now been talking for approximately 4 hours or so. And thus, food seems, and water especially, seems pretty good right now. We have an ambitious deck commission from Ryan. A more ambitious one. Did we discuss it last? I thought we discussed it last episode. No?
We did. We did. Yes.
Did you play it yet?
It is the Oshi deck.
It is.
I did play some games with it. It is... Normally, I will do some testing for ambitious deck building either with real cards that I own, or if I don't own it, I will play the games on the simulator because it's a real pain to proxy an entire deck of a set I don't own and then try to play that in real life. It's annoying. So, I played some games. The problem being, of course, that the Oshi simulator is... the simulator set for Oshi no Ko 2 is irrevocably screwed up in many ways. So, a lot of my testing results are probably not valid. But I did play
Isn't there a fix?
I have heard there's a fix. I don't...
Wow. Could have asked me.
Yeah, I should have.
All right. So we will source a fix.
There will be more games to be played.
We will source some cards.
Yes.
And we will play test the list. Actually.
Yeah.
And we'll be excited for you for when in March you get it. And hopefully, perhaps you go to Philly and you qualify because you have now done better than us, certainly, for the most part, besides Steve winning Pasadena. In that the last 2 times we saw you, you went X2 and barely bubbled out, and that was really cringe. So, like, you and everybody else, if you go X2 and you bubble out, you're right there.
Yeah, I mean,
just keep going.
Being on the edge of the cut is the first step to making the cut. So, like, Oshi will not be legal for
Philly.
Any
you'll
US,
have to
event.
run back perhaps the Chainsaw Man list, or maybe a Dan to Dan list, or maybe a Fairy Tale list. But yeah, we believe in you.
Yeah,
and that you is not just you, Ryan. It's you, everyone.
The most consistent predictor of winning Weiss Schwarz events has been listening to the Refresh Point. I think if we polled the audience, we would find a lot of winners in that audience and among our supporters. So by consuming this content, you're already giving yourself the edge that very few people have.
We try our level best to give you the edge, and apparently it helps people have that edge. Scientifically proven TM. However, now, yeah, I think my throat's dying. Thus, that's gonna be it for us today at the Refresh Point. Go watch the Duluth Top Cut VODs if you haven't already. You can roast us for the commentary if you will.
I know Alex will be there commenting pretty much every time I explain a card completely wrong. Or perhaps...
I don't think you did that.
I definitely do it a lot. And I also...
Well, you did call Luna Miko.
Yeah.
I think that was the
There'll be
one
more than
major
that.
thing.
I am certain.
You actually, I think, explained the layer finisher correctly.
That's good.
So that's good.
We're one of 100. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll know because Alex is
I
very
said
good at that.
bar instead of treasure.
Like 100 times.
No. It was 4 times.
Okay.
And you won't actually technically know unless you listen very closely, because I will in fact edit it out. As a matter of fact, I have control.
Yes.
So,
but
it'll be
Alexander,
like a short silence, and it'll be like, "What was that?" And I'll continue by saying treasure combo.
Ooh, nice.
I have the power.
But yeah, Alexander is our most consistent commenter, and we appreciate all of his contributions. So that is from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the people who comment and contribute to our content. It's not the only reason we do it, but it's certainly a huge fringe benefit.
Yeah, speaking of that, we have all of Alex's recordings that he shipped us over to record commentary for the from the Ohio and Friends online tournament. And we'll get to that in the coming weeks. I have BCS VODs to edit, and then the podcast, and then we'll do another podcast, and then we have been floating the idea of doing some live streams remotely, so that we don't have to congregate in a location and do some setup to record some commentary for games, which we will probably do for BCS, not because we don't love you, Alex, but because we gotta get a little more time efficient on this sort of thing. So keep an eye out for perhaps a Tuesday stream with Steve and I on YouTube Live doing game commentary. It's much more likely than you think. That's gonna be us here at the refresh point. No, I literally have to look at the outro. My brain is
so
fried.
Tune in next time after your next deck out.
Yeah.
And don't you forget to take the refresh point.